Give a little cheers.
Cheers.
We are here together in the flesh, which is just like so nice because it doesn't always get to happen this way, right? So many times on these recordings we're like connecting over the Zoom and it's not the same vibe. So I'm going to take a sip and say, hola mis amores. Welcome to the Inspired Wrist podcast. I am Elizabeth Cordova. And I am truly tickled to be here with my new friend, Mekhai. Mekhai is an award-winning, like legitimately award-winning, South by Southwest attending actor, director, artist. And today we're going to talk about what it's like to make a film and to go through the process of like taking something that is so interior and in your mind and then having to translate it and make it something that other people can experience and enjoy and interpret and critique and all of the things. We're also going to talk about recognizing and owning your moment because you have had a moment. You have had a few moments.
Quite a few, yeah.
And so we're definitely going to touch on that.
Yeah.
As well as just like learning how to trust in your creative instincts, especially when it might not make a lot of like sense to people who are not you. And so I'm excited. Mekhai.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Darling,
yeah, I'll take a sip.
Take a sip.
But I'm very happy to be here. I'm super excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you as a new friend. Like, I think this is awesome.
Yeah. So Mekhai and I met at a mutual friend's dinner party.
Yeah.
And so we got to know each other, you know, kind of fast and furious, like over one very long, very fun dinner.
Very intimate.
Intimate dinner.
There
was, you know, only, I think 8 of us, and we were sitting pretty close. And so got to chat for the whole night. And just there was a little bit of like soul resonance, maybe a little bit of
totally.
artists connecting to artists, and we had a lot of great conversation. And so I'm glad that you're here and we get to like expand on that convo for the people.
Yeah, me too.
I want to just like take a moment to ask actually how you're doing, because looking from the outside
that's a loaded question. Okay.
The past few weeks have been major.
Yeah, they have. Right now, I feel like I'm still coming out of it. I feel like it's been, like you said, major. It's been kind of a shell-shocking experience. So I'm like returning to life a bit.
Yes.
There was life before these last few weeks, and then there's life sort of after it. I've had a lot of experiences that were first-time experiences. I've had a lot of, I've met a lot of new people, and I've made a lot of new friends, and I feel like, especially beginning this Aries season, I feel like I'm beginning this new chapter, this new era of my life, and I'm very welcoming towards it. I feel impatient at times, but I also feel like ready and, welcoming and just like open-armed to whatever can sort of be, whatever can become, and hopeful.
And
very hopeful. Yeah.
And so if you're not familiar, Mekhai directed and produced.
Though not credited, but I learned after the fact, like, I am a producer. I didn't know when it was happening.
All right. So now we know.
Now we know.
Also the producer and director
that's right.
of this beautiful short film called Them That's Not. And it premiered when?
In June of last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then very recently, in March, it was screened at South by Southwest, and you went to the NAACP Awards, and you turned 30.
Yes.
And it was all kind of just like...
So many things,
bam,
it was
bam,
so
bam,
much
bam,
happening.
bam, bam.
In a span of like 3 weeks, too. Yeah. And like, I kind of anticipated it. I knew it was coming. In a way, the world didn't. And I didn't expect the world to even pay attention. But because of the Image Awards, so many people were paying attention. So it's become a thing of like... I'm constantly seeing new chapters, new people, new experiences, new opportunities. Like, many people are presenting themselves forth to me in a way that was not happening 2 months ago.
Interesting.
But it was sort of like on the horizon. Like, for example, our dinner party, or the night after our dinner party, I went to a birthday party and met a lot of new people and was made aware that people were following what I was doing with my career, but weren't vocalizing that or making that apparent on social media or whatever, which is sometimes as an artist what you're paying attention to. and in real life, it became very apparent, like, oh, these folks are watching what is happening over here. Mm-hmm. And I sort of have a responsibility, but also, no, I have a responsibility to two things. To myself, to maintain my integrity, to maintain my vision, but also to the folks who are paying attention, who see stock in me, who believe in me, who can see that there is potential here. And while that's a lot of pressure, it also motivates me. It makes me sort of feel like I have something to say, and people believe in my voice and my vision, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's interesting that you frame it that way, because I feel like a lot of artists don't necessarily have that same perspective, where they might take the lens of like, what I am responsible for is simply just honoring, like you said, like working in my own integrity and putting out work that's true for me, but not necessarily take that extra bit of responsibility to say, no, I'm also responsible for the people that are believing in me. Yeah. And so where do you think that comes from? Because certainly not everybody feels that way.
Well, I'm glad you saw them. That's not, because that's something that my father sort of instilled in me. Not to get like crazy deep. But
no,
like
please.
Yeah. But like it was something he said to me and it made me realize that I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for the people who love me and who believe in me. And because that sort of was like exercised or like crystallized very early on for me, when I meet people who also express that same sentiment, who are not in my family, then it becomes much more responsibility, and I take them on as sort of community. And I'm like, oh, here's someone else who sees what I'm capable of, and vice versa, I see what they're capable of. So it's my responsibility to maintain accountability and show them by example what I can do, and what conversely they can also create or procreate, So it makes me excited to see what is possible for the future, for what our artistry can sort of like cultivate, and not to talk about Michael B. Jordan ad nauseum, but
please.
I mean, when really he won, I felt it.
Yeah.
It was something visceral. And he also won at the Image Awards, so I was present for his win there, and he said,
gives me chills.
I was there, and I remember seeing him, first of all, on the red carpet and everything, and then, you're passing him, and when the cameras aren't rolling, you're next to these people. When the cameras are rolling, you feel far away. But when you're in these like little pockets where they don't allow cameras, they don't allow any press, any media coverage, you're literally getting a drink at the bar with Tyler James Williams and Quinta Brunson and Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler, and you're all ordering drinks together, and you may chat, but you also may have your friends there or whoever you're with, and it was cool to sort of see realness from these people, like actual experience, actual like humanity. And then they would go on stage and win awards, and you're like, wow, that. And then Michael's last speech, when he won like Entertainer of the Year or something, he said, you're not that far from where we are. You're right here. You're right here. And it became very real in that moment. And then 3 weeks later, he wins the Oscar, and it just was very, very grounding. His win was real. His win was connectivity. I could see in him when he says, I am responsible for the people who believe in me. I had already been sort of like matriculating with that thought, and then here it was in real time, like, oh, this can actually happen, So yeah, that's where my head is at. That's what comes up for me in these moments. And it's been I feel like I'm in this quiet space in Aries season. I'm feeling like I'm sort of preparing for the next part of my life. After such a eventful Pisces season, the end of a chapter that showed me what my next life will look like, my next era will look like. And so now I'm sort of like in this period of, all right, well, get yourself ready for that. And that's where I've been with April starting and Aries season starting, and it's beginning. It's beginning.
Yeah. The gestation, it starts all over again.
It starts all over again. It's a new year. Yeah, you sort of have to breathe into it, because it is scary. For sure. Even as I was coming here, I was like, a year or two ago, I would have been really nervous to do a podcast interview. I would have been just been like in my head about it. But I was walking here and I was like, you just did like a fucking red carpet, and if you can do that and be well received, and if you can do South by and be well received, then this is someone who you've already connected with. This is someone you've already made friends with. So just take the pressure off of it and like walk in there as yourself, you know? But like years ago, like not even years ago, maybe a year ago, I'd have been like, what do I do? What do I say? How do I be myself? You know? And truthfully, returning to self and breathing through it. That's why I'm grateful for the meditation, because like letting everything else go and just showing up as yourself is so enough. It's just enough. It really is. It really is. So yeah.
And like, I hope that you got that. I hope that everybody is receiving that, because
I forgot y'all are here. Hi. I forgot you guys. I'm just talking to Liza right now. I'm just chatting with her, but like, yeah, totally, yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Being yourself is enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's so many things that started sort of like bubbling up as you were talking about this response that you had to Michael B. Jordan and to just being in proximity. Because I feel like there truly is magic and like some like osmosis a little bit in exchange of energy by osmosis that gets to happen when you're like in the room with people who are going in the direction and who are at the place where you envision yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm half Mexican and I'm white. And so
I'm learning that now. Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's cool. Yeah.
I see this from the outside looking in, but I'm like, the Black community does this so well. And like, you guys really take care of each other in a way that like white communities don't always.
But
okay,
I agree.
Fair,
I agree.
Fair.
I hear your point, and I see from an external perspective, for sure. You might see it that way.
Yeah.
I wish that it would happen more often, but I think we are making strides. You know, capitalistic tendency, and it
gets us all.
It gets us all.
We're all under this umbrella.
Yeah,
in the United States,
it's like
make it work.
Yeah, we have to sort of work or thrive in a system that wasn't built for us. Yes. Everyone, not just Black people.
Yeah.
So sometimes that doubles back on itself, and Black people aren't always here for Black people. But I'm grateful when you see Black people working in spite of that, making themselves present for other people of their community.
Yeah.
And that inspires me. That inspires me greatly. Yeah. And that's what I want to do. So I completely agree with you and see your point, and as an external viewer of osmosis, of that connection, of seeing someone like Ryan Coogler or MPJ win. Ryan Coogler's win is really, really, really connection. I feel that.
It's like visceral.
It is. It is. I feel it in my soul, like in my gut. But Michael's it's different in a way because we've watched Michael before he got involved with Ryan.
Yeah.
You know, he's been around, and he was sort of this George Clooney type where it was just like, yeah, you're pretty, you do the thing, and then you're not an actor, but you're a movie star. Everyone knows you, or you're a television star, and everyone wants to sleep with you or has an attraction to you, like you're Michael B. Jordan. But it never felt like there was that crossover threshold where he could actually be taken seriously. And Sinners has woken up so many different markets in a way that people were not anticipatory of. And it's really happened in a very like unconventional and almost impossible way. It's like, whoa, these folks are here to say something, and they want to make art and be serious contenders in the way that everyone else has been taken seriously. Yeah. Michael's win and Autumn's win are just unexpected shifts in the atmosphere. It's really shifted how we look at the entire industry, look at the entire world. Our world is different. I saw Cats last night, which is for folks who aren't in New York, there's a ballroom production of Cats happening right now. And I saw it last night. I second acted it because I was out at the top of it, and then my friend was like, "Do you want to come see it?" And I was like, "Okay, I won't get there on time." They were like, "That's okay. Just get here during intermission. We'll go for Act 2." And I thought I would hate it.
Fair.
Thought it wouldn't be for me.
Yeah.
I love ballroom.
Sure.
I love queer expression. I love that. But I didn't think.
So wait, when you say ballroom, explain to the people who might be
ballroom
envisioning
ballroom is I don't know. It's like just freedom of expression. Think Paris is burning. Think all the things. Like it's freedom of expression, and I knew I would like that aspect of it. I didn't know if it would make sense in the context of the show, I was like severely proven wrong. It makes so much sense in the show. It makes so much sense.
And like Cats is so like flamboyant.
It is, but it also is terrible.
Sure.
Like, yeah, Cats is just not a fun show to watch, you know? It's like, you have to love Cats to love Cats.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're just like sitting there and checking your watch, waiting for it to be over. And the cool thing about it
All
is
the
that
Cats heads are gonna come for you.
they are, yeah, come, I'm ready for it. Exactly. But no, genuinely, watching it in a ballroom context, for folks who are in that community and for folks who've just seen Paris is Burning, like, there's a realness quality to it. There's a human quality to it that this production really wakes up and evokes. And we can, like, relax into that and see ourselves in these characters. Cats no longer is the animal, it becomes categories because they're just sort of showcasing who they are and what they can exist as.
Yeah, I see it.
It's like an abbreviation of the word category because that's how ballroom operates, by category. And then they can all come forward and I'm the theater cat, I'm the train cat, I'm the dancer cat, I have a twin. Like, that's their category, and they just walk the runway, they sing their song, and it is the score. But they wake it up in a different way. And I bring it up because I might have forgotten why I brought it up. But no, I bring it up because there was a real human aspect to it. And there were people this is why. There were people I was connecting to in the audience. That would have never looked to their right and have spoken to me.
Okay.
At the start of the show, it was very much playbill. I'm speaking to the people I'm with.
Yeah.
Like every other Broadway show. I've been to many. And you will sit in the audience, you'll read your playbill, you'll talk to who you came with. You may talk to someone else, but they might be eclectic. They might be a little different. But you never usually speak to the waspy sort of type who has the season tickets to this theater or whatever. And during intermission, those waspy types were finding Black people, finding queer people, finding anyone outside of the spectrum, you know? I personally am a Black person, of course, but like they were also finding like drag queens and trans folks and asking them, what did you think? Because I love it. The waspy folks are like, I am enjoying this. Is this okay to enjoy?
Yes.
You know? And it was really, really insightful because finally someone in the show said that they don't see them as drug dealers. They don't see them as sex fiends. They don't see them as HIV survivors. They see them as human. Finally, the show woke up a humanity to trans folks, to queer folks, to ballroom counterparts that wasn't existing before.
Yeah.
They felt
the
like
traditional sort of
absolutely not
expression of Cats.
Correct. Yeah. And well, even the expression of just queer people in general, like they felt like a subset of what we exist as in the mainstream culture.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, this is just a facet of American culture. And now here you can see American culture, this facet you've seen as a sort of like bypassing, like non-existent factor is actually just as real as you.
Yeah.
That show woke it up in a way. And you're talking to people and you're sharing fans and people are talking. It's really crazy while the show is happening, which in other Broadway shows, talking is prohibited. Yeah, silence, yeah. But during the show, people are whispering to each other and you're connecting with people you would have never spoken to. You're just talking to them and they're sharing their fans and playbills and people are just like converging. And then you're walking out in the theater and you'll never see this person again. It's a New York moment, but you really did have a moment with them. You shared this experience with them.
Yes.
That's beautiful. And that's what art can do.
Yeah.
That's what Sinners has done. That's what Cats is doing. And that's what I want to do. So, yeah. It's really a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. And it's I mean, it's one of the things that I think bonded us initially was thinking about, because we were talking about the Oscars. It was before the Oscars had happened that we were chatting, and we were both kind of gushing, or I was gushing, I'll say, over my experience at Hamnet, because I went to see Hamnet and I had no idea what the movie was about. I did not look up anything. I literally thought it was a love story between the two main characters, and then it turns out to be this like gut wrench of a movie. And it was I went by myself. It was a theater full of, I would say 80% probably like women or women adjacent folks, and everybody was hysterically crying. Like, everybody.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking about, when was the last time I had this type of communal experience with strangers? Because so often we might have, I go to ceremonies, I go to, I'm a meditation teacher, and so I facilitate deep spaces on a pretty frequent basis.
Yeah.
But to just have that experience through a piece of art that somebody created, and to, number one, not be expecting it, but number two, to be so moved that you can't restrain yourself in a room of strangers, is power. There's so much power in that. And I'm curious, when you think about the type of art that you want to make, like, what is it, the emotional journey that you're interested in taking people on?
I think a return to self.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I want folks to remember that. I just told your husband when we got here, I was listening to 90s hip hop this morning, right? Specifically, it was Notorious B.I.G., right? I don't know why. He just came on my mind.
New York, baby.
Yeah, truly. But it's also like, anytime spiritually I feel like, I should listen to this artist, their songs, lyrics are stuck in my head, I'll just return to their music. That's sort of how it happens. And I was listening to B.I.G. and I thought to myself, wow, like Juicy specifically, he has a song called Juicy, and he's speaking so specifically to his experience that it becomes universal for a lot of people who are trying to make it out of the mud, trying to make their own way, forge their own paths, right? Still, to this day, it still is an anthem in that way. And it reminded me of what I want to do artistically, because I think when you make these specific experiences, for example, someone who was deaf, someone who was queer, someone who is grieving and isolated in that grief, when you make those experiences so specific, they become universal, because we all can sort of metaphorically connect.
Yeah.
What is your loss of hearing to you is this totem that I hold with my family, this thing that is lost to time, or this this language barrier I may experience with my family becomes your queer expression. We can all watch this experience and find something that is universally true for us. Again, with cats, like, there's this theater cat, and he like evokes this ghost in the production, and it's very theatrical and very dramatic, but I can feel the audience sort of be like, oh, that is the memory of me at my quinceañera, or at my my wedding, or at my bachelor party with my sisters. Like, they could remember those experiences, especially those who had passed the threshold of 50 and 60. They were older, and they were like older folks were crying because they just really connected to that production. So when I think about artistically what I want to create, it's that specificity of truth. And because it returns you to yourself, it makes you realize the universal truths that you've sort of left covered. It unbears that. It's something I learned being an actor initially, and then moving or pivoting into creating my own work. I feel like people really respond to when you unbear your soul, and I feel like that's my job. It was my job as an actor, and now it's my job as a writer-director who can sort of evoke that emotion in people, help you realize yourself when you're watching something I've done. So
yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's also not a thing that comes easily.
No,
it's not a thing that comes easily.
Yeah.
I know in my own experience, it took me a really long time to be okay with myself, to love myself, to feel happy. I grew up in a really challenging home and environment, and my queerness was not okay, and I was poor, and I was angry, and I had a very different, not personality, but I did not feel safe to be myself.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of effort to get to this place now.
To return to self.
Yeah. And I'm curious about your upbringing, or is this return to self, have you always felt like innately connected to who it is that you are, or has it also taken some effort for you?
Yeah. I'm gonna butcher this James Baldwin quote, but it is, you have to sort of get rid of everything you've been taught about yourself to realize who you are, you know? And so I had been taught I was certain ways, and some of those things that I enjoy stuck. But some of those things that were not true of me, I had to work to let go. So it was never easy. It's my Scorpio rising, I feel like, though. It's like, yeah, like I'm going to excavate like all the really gritty parts of myself, and now I'm sort of like showcasing them,
yes,
you know?
Yes, you're going to perceive me in a very specific way, this
yes,
way that
I have cultivated.
For sure.
I've decided you're going to be,
yes.
This is how I'm going to present myself at this moment, because, you know, Scorpios are constantly reinventing.
Always.
Yeah,
always.
it's the
Death
phoenix.
And rebirth, baby.
Always. So in 2 years, I might be completely fucking different. Or my soul might be completely different. Like who I resonate with you as might be different. And I find that that's often beautiful and often hurtful, because sometimes people resonated with me more 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I might have really, really deep, like close friendships from 2 years ago or 7 years ago or 15 years ago that now they are either loving who I've become, they've seen who I've become, and they're like, I am so grateful that you finally see yourself in the way that I've always seen you. Yeah. Or they're like, this is not the version of you that I'm used to. And they can't really, they're reversed to it. They can't really connect to it anymore. Yeah. And that's often hurtful. And it was more hurtful 5 or 6 years ago. And now I'm like, I understand the nature of myself and I go through peaks and valleys. So folks who stick around for that are my true friends, are my true community. Folks who can't see the truth of that, then, you know, more power to you. I welcome the season of our life that we've experienced, you know. So, I feel like that return to self, or that excavating of self, is very true to my Scorpio rising, and also very true to the art that I create. You know, it's going to be ugly, but it's always going to be truthful and authentic in what it is, you know. Yeah. So, yeah.
As a Pisces sun.
Uh-huh.
Yes, also Pisces sun and Capricorn moon.
That's right, yeah.
And obviously Scorpio rising, but I feel like the Pisces sun and Capricorn moon is like a very powerhouse duo, because it's sort of this infinite trust, hopefully, infinite sort of like connection to infinity and what is possible, and this like your fuel is kind of like always available as a Pisces sun. It's sort of like this thing that you can always like tap into that is maybe less accessible to people with other placements. Do you feel that?
I completely feel that. Yeah. And I've never heard it put that way. But that's so true, because, again, return to self, when I come home, I'm a Capricorn, you know? And so when I'm creating in that safe space, I'm always looking towards source, and it's always, I'm knocking on wood, but it's always readily available.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It is, because I can just tap into what makes me feel immediately. But my Capricorn moon sort of keeps me ambitious and keeps me moving.
Well, and gets things done. And that's why I'm like, it's such a powerhouse combo.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, all the ideas, all the inspiration, all the wisdom that wants to come through, sometimes that just stays as like this esoteric feeling that people have, and they never actualize it.
Correct.
Into anything. It never takes form.
Other Pisces I know, I'm always like, why am I different from them? And they'll have a Libra moon or an Aries moon, and they're feeling it, but they don't do anything with it. Yes. Or a Libra moon, my God, they'd never do anything with it.
They're like, the beauty, we're just floating, baby.
Correct, yeah, correct. And then with me, I'll feel it, and I'm like, but we have to turn this into something. We have to actualize this. Yes. Transmutate everything we're feeling to what can be effective for the human experience, you know?
Yeah.
I think the human experience part is my Pisces speaking up. It's like, oh, you can't just make something for a capitalistic endeavor. Of course I like to make money. I like to, be well off.
Capricorn moon.
Yes, correct.
Never gonna lose that. That's fine.
I love that. But I also love to make something that is true to what I'm experiencing, and to also what can be true for everyone.
Yes.
What they're experiencing.
Yes.
Again, that's very specific experience to make universal cathartic release. You know, that's where my artistry lies. For sure.
That's beautiful. Will you give the listeners and the watchers just like a brief synopsis about what your short film is about? Because I don't think we've actually said.
Oh, yeah. So, Them That's Not tells the story of a deaf girl, a deaf college student who returns home to her hearing family and basically reconnects with her estranged father, who is on furlough for one day to grieve his mother at their repast.
Yeah.
So...
And I had the pleasure, the absolute joy of screening this film at Saflix. And I'm like, no, it was my favorite. There were other films that were screened, other short films.
Chestbound is great.
I'm like, I'm not, there's no judgment. This is my one person's silly opinion.
Yeah.
And also, you're already my friend, so I already
there's a little bit of a bias. There's a little bit of a bias. But
it was technically so beautiful and impressive.
Thank you.
But also, it was wild because you give viewers this experience that doesn't happen, I don't think, in other films, where you are putting them in the lived reality of the protagonist of the story in a very actualized, physicalized way. And you play with the sound design and sound editing, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like, are those the words?
Sound design, for sure.
Sound design. So that when we are, taking the point of view of the protagonist, Drea, the hearing goes in and out, and it's like becomes muffled and becomes challenging, and you're like, it's very, I don't know, experiential in a way that I haven't seen done in other films. And so, number one, I'm curious, like, where did that idea come from? Was it from source? Did this just, like, hit you like a lightning bolt one day?
It's comfortable talking to you because that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
When people ask me that question,
it has to be.
Yeah, it just struck me.
Yes.
They're like, well, why deaf characters? Why sound design? And I was like, I don't know. I was grieving. I felt alone in that grief. And I thought, oh, wow, this must feel like what it feels to be deaf in a hearing family. This must feel like what it is or my experiences of being queer in a heteronormative family. So how do I actualize this? How do I make this a visceral experience? How can I do this in this medium and make it true for everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you just did.
Yeah, and then that idea struck me.
Yes.
It just did. It just did.
Yeah.
And when in any other interviews, I try to explain it, but as you know and as you understand, it's difficult when it just strikes you.
Yes.
And I remember calling a friend of mine and saying, wouldn't it be cool if if we're like watching the film and we can't hear conversation, so the subtitles are question marks because that's what she's seeing.
Yes.
She's not sure what they're saying, so we make that experience universal for everyone.
Yes.
And I remember him being like, oh, fuck you, that's a great idea. He was so mad. He was like, fuck you. That's a great idea.
Do this hard thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just like, yeah, that will totally be great. And he was like kind of tight about it. But it's okay. But yeah, like I remember being sort of struck. Yeah, it just happened that way. And so I pitched the idea. Well, it sort of came from, this program is called Sound and Scene. And I'd been struck by a quote maybe like 6 months before. Sound is what turns a crowd into an audience. And
sound is what turns a crowd into an audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. When you're around a group of people, especially like in the hundreds or 200s or whatever, and everyone's sort of just like there, if the sound, when you're at a concert, if the sound is fucked, everyone's reacting to that. The artist on stage can look wonderful, fantastic, the visuals can be great, but if we can't hear the song, if the sound is in and out, or whenever our mic gets really close to a speaker, we're all reacting to that, But if the music is bumping and we're all really feeling it, we're all there. Sound is what really connects us, It's vibrational.
The vibration.
Yeah, more than a visual experience is. We just rely on these because that's the first intake of our experience. But sound is really what makes the experience universal.
Yes.
Because we all can feel that. We feel it as we hear it, And so that quote really struck me. And then I realized, oh, well, hundreds, thousands of people make short films a year. What can I do with mine that will sort of set it apart? And the first thought I had was remove the sound. because that'll make people pay attention. When you take the sound away, people will watch and be like, oh, now I have to like experience it because I can't rely and do this.
No, the second screen and like there's no way that you can be on your phone at the same time.
I'll be doing this, and if you're not hearing anything, and many people have watched the film and been like, oh, I thought my sound wasn't working when it starts, because it starts in silence, and then you like surprise us, and that's what made me want to, oh wait, let me take it back and actually watch this, because this guy knows, he might be trying something here, and I'm grateful that it worked, because I remember thinking this can really fucking blow up. I can really try something and it just doesn't work, and people are really responding to it. So I'm really, really grateful about that. I really am.
Yeah. I want to dig in a little bit to the like trying something, because I think this is such an interesting component of being an artist.
Yeah.
It's having this lightning idea and kind of sitting with it and maybe like yo-yoing a little bit, seesawing about like, should I? Is it possible? Can I? How will I? How will people receive it? Blah, blah, blah. You do this, many people, maybe not you, and that's what I kind of want to know, do this like back and forth of like negotiating whether or not it's like wise to take this risk. Because what you're doing is so novel. It must, I would assume, feel risky.
Yes. Yeah. I have put myself into the practice of taking risks, though.
Okay.
Always.
Like, say it to the camera. Put yourself into the practice
of taking risks.
Yes.
Definitely.
This is my whole life.
Yeah. I always have been that way.
Yes.
And yeah. And
but
it's
you
always...
can learn.
Yes.
You can learn.
But
you
it's
can
always
practice.
It's always paid off in a really, really fruitful way. Like, leap and the net will appear is how I sort of feel,
So Pisces, but true.
True.
This is why you're here.
Yeah,
to tell the people.
And most of the time in the sort of pre-production of the risk, folks will look at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, I'm still gonna do it, even though y'all don't see the vision. I can see what can
return to self.
Yeah.
Return to self.
Correct, and I can see what can be the potential of this. I can see what can happen.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't happen exactly that way, I'm grateful that I just went for it. Often, though, it happens in a different way than I expected, but also exactly how I expected. It's really crazy, because that risk is just waiting for you to kick fear to the curb. It really is. It really is. So that's where I'm at, and it's proved worthwhile in the past, so I'm going to continue to do in the future.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And your film is Oscar eligible.
It is.
Now.
It is, yeah.
We won't say anything one way or another, but we have this awareness, right? We have this awareness. We have this you built it with such integrity and you executed it with such integrity that
Thank you
is an award in and of itself, but also like we saw with Ryan Coogler and like we saw with MBJ, the accolades and that kind of spotlight can really make a difference. And so we're keeping you in our prayers. We're keeping you in our thoughts.
We're praying. Yeah, it's cool to sort of be in that conversation.
Yes.
And to sort of be continuing the conversation, and at every juncture so far, it's been a yes. It's been like, yeah, y'all can probably go that far. It can make it there, But no one is telling me to be expectant, but they're saying remain hopeful, because it's one of those that people are really responding to, and the awards are coming, and, the accolades and the stamp of approval from the right people is sort of happening. And I'm just like, hey, as long as y'all pay for the next one, that's sort of where I'm at,
Great. Funding, please.
Please, yeah. I'd like to continue a career here, and that's cool that y'all like this one, but I have ideas for future projects, so please continue to invest in those. And, people are always asking about them and very positively responding to the new ones that I send, and it is sort of beginning a career, and that's what I feel like in this Aries season. I'm seeing the beginnings of that, because a year ago I was still sort of figuring it out, and now I'm here, I'm like actually doing it, so that's crazy.
It is a really beautiful reminder, though, of how much can change in even 12 months when you take yourself seriously, when you take your risks seriously. And it's like, exponential what becomes possible. It's so, I just see this like wild upward trajectory that is available to all of us. The wind beneath your wings, you know, that can really like take you higher.
I also feel lucky because I did it right as Saturn return was ending. So it became like...
I'm like, is it luck or is it just like that's how things go?
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know. And that's sort of where I'm always...
to...
Yeah, when I'm falling asleep, that's what I'm thinking about. Genuinely. I'm like, am I really lucky? Which could be cool. Yeah, thank you. But also like, is this a Saturn return thing? Because the first 2 years of my Saturn return sucked. Nothing was happening. No one was saying yes, you know? And I had great ideas. And this was one of them, or in a different capacity. Yeah. And I shaped this idea for the opportunity that presented itself. And then this sort of just blossomed. And you're constantly trying to make something. And then this is the thing this is why I met Gibran, because someone asked to screen this film. And then Gibran was also present at that screening. It was just like, dude, we've got to connect. We've got to talk, you know? And I've always been this way. Not always. I've grown, of course. There's maturation involved. But I've always been who I am at my core, you know? And now people are sort of finally responding to who I've been, you know? And I feel like it's a Saturn return thing a little bit because I did this right at the end of it. And now... You know, Pisces left Saturn, went to Aries, like literally last month. And last month is when everything started to feel like, okay, shit's getting real, you know? And it's continuing to get real. And I don't feel scared about it. I don't feel nervous about it. I'm like, bring it on, you know? I'm sort of ready for it, you know? But not 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In the middle of my Saturn return, I wouldn't have felt on solid ground. And now I feel I'm on solid ground. I'm ready for it, you know? So, be welcoming to your Saturn return, honestly. Welcome
honestly,
it. Yeah.
I mean, that is the whole thing that Saturn does, is it's like, if your foundations are not solid for the life that you want to have, we're going to have to do some restructuring. We're going to have to do some, like, cementing and breaking down of the things that are kind of weak. So that you can be grounded and ready and solid for the spotlight and the attention and the ideas and the, you know, whatever it is that you want.
Whatever's coming. And I do feel ready for it. Like, I really, I say this with modesty, but I don't feel shakeable. Like, I'm genuinely here, like, this is who I am. So, like, whoever's interested, show me what you're bringing, and if I'm interested in return, then we can have a conversation. But then if that's sort of not happening, then I'm not going to say yes to that kind of thing, you know? But like, it's sort of been like this constant pressure of folks being interested and wanting to present themselves or putting themselves forth for my attention. And I'm grateful because that was not happening 2 years ago, and now it is happening, but I also feel ready for it. Whereas, again, 2 years ago, I would have felt like, why? There would have been this imposter syndrome, and that doesn't really exist anymore, you know?
Amazing.
It's not that I'm like, oh, well, it's supposed to happen this way. I just feel like whatever happens, I'm ready for.
Yes.
That's the difference, you know?
That's really beautiful. I
felt that breath, too. I'm like, yes. It's a return
whatever
to self.
Whatever happens, I'm ready for.
Yeah.
And like, like, just feel that for a second, because it's a powerful place to be.
Yeah. I'm grateful because it took a lot of shadow work. It took a lot of work in general. It took a lot of failure, you know?
Is that what the shadow work looked like for you? Just trying and failing? Or
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I didn't recognize it like that at the time. I recognized it as, oh, this is going to be a win. And when it didn't happen, I just pretended that wasn't a failure.
Okay.
And now retrospectively, I'm sort of like, oh, yeah, those were no's. That's right. And you hear all these interviews where like, it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. You're going to hear a lot of no's before you hear your yes, whatever. And yeah, those were happening. And I was just like, sort of, my Pisces brain was being like, no, that's not a no, that's just like a maybe. Like, they'll say yes in the future. And, you know, they did it, but someone else did.
Someone else did.
You know?
Yeah.
And that sort of yes has become something, you know? So retrospectively, I see it now as like, those were also failures, but those failures aren't something to be ashamed of. I think that's what the fear was. I was like, should I have something to feel shameful about? And now I'm like, oh yeah, no's happen. So I'm more open with them. I'm like, yeah, I got a no last week. I applied for another grant, but then another grant said, yeah, we're interested, send something more, So they happen.
Yeah.
They happen, and that's the seasonal aspects of our lives, So yeah, I'm more welcoming towards it now. The wins and the losses.
Yes.
For sure.
It's all, my teacher says it's all grist for the mill. It all gets
I like
to
that.
be something that like gets to be turned into the bread, right?
Yeah.
Where you actually end up making the no's and the yeses. So, whew, Mekhai, I feel like you really took us on a spiritual journey. Thank you.
Really?
Yes,
Spiritual is
yeah,
cool.
like I
Spiritual's
felt it.
cool.
You felt it.
I
right?
did.
You
I did
felt
feel
it, right?
that. There
was
yeah.
some powerful Pisces transmissions coming through.
Yeah, that osmosis you were speaking about. Yeah.
It's happening. I want to end it on maybe with like 2 light questions.
Okay.
The first one, what do you love about being queer and Black and living in New York City? Like
freedom. Oh my God. I love that. Yeah. I love that I can walk down the street and not give a fuck what anyone says about me or thinks about me. And they're looking, because look at this coat. I have a bright yellow jacket on.
I know. I'm like, the fashion is something. You turn a look on the red carpet. What were you like? Tell me about this best dress.
Oh
moment.
my
Tell me about
God, dude.
this.
That was insane, because I just was like, I know if I'm going to this award show, I cannot show up looking crazy.
Yes.
And so I just want to
explain to the people.
So I went to the Image Awards and I just put a look together. I wore a jacket from Zara.
Styled yourself.
I styled myself. I asked for help. No one wanted to help me. And so I was like, okay, I'll wear a jacket from Zara. These pants will be, I think they're from Amazon or something. Like, I had all these jewelry on. Like, I just sort of put myself together and did the best I fucking could. And I made it on Vogue's best dress list. I made it on Essence's best dress list. A few more, like some of them I started to lose track because I was just like,
all
Vogue
the tags,
it
was crazy.
It was happening, a lot of them. But Vogue was like the one. So I was like, shit, if I made it on Vogue, then that's the one you share. But I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all. Not at all. I thought I would just so I was there with like, we weren't students, but we were there as like sort of like new filmmakers venturing into the space, and we went together and we were part of a program sponsored by the NAACP, but we were there with like, it was a good year to go. Yeah. Sinners and Kiki Palmer was there with her TV show, or her podcast rather, and like various things, like so many people, like people I would recognize. I did recognize often. So to be in the number with them and to be on the list as them was
looking good, feeling good.
Woo! Insane. Yeah. Insane. I wasn't expecting it. But it's sort of given me a different level of confidence, because I have been sort of stepping into how I express myself with my clothing. And then that was a stamp of approval, like, hey, you're doing something different, but, Vogue is paying attention. And I remember when it happened, too. I was taking a picture, and I walked off the carpet, and this guy stopped me and was like, what's your name? And I was just like, oh, I'm Mekhai. And they were like, Mekhai what? And I was like, okay, Mekhai Lee.
First and last?
Yeah, they had me spell it out. And then they were like, well, who are you here with? I'm here with the NAACP, da-da-da. And they were like, okay, cool. Meet this woman over here. And then I walked over. They were like, did you give your name to him? I was like, yes. They were like, okay, great. We've got you. And I was like, didn't think anything of it. We did the whole award show. Never thought about it again. Those people worked for Vogue, and they were just asking for my information so they could list me. Because they were going through who they liked, Mind you, Vogue has nothing to do with NAACP, Yeah. That had nothing. They were just there because it's an award show. Yeah. It was insane.
Oof.
Crazy. Yeah.
I feel it. The energy,
crazy.
y'all.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's kind of bananas.
Yeah, bananas, yeah.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, the freedom of that is sort of where it came from. And I was with very straight men. I was with very, very straight guys who just don't express. And it just, the freedom I feel being myself really just alleviates a lot of pressure. I don't really care what folks are thinking or saying. And yeah, that's my favorite part about being Black, queer, all the things. Like, that's just who I am, Amazing. That's how I show up in the world. So.
And that's what makes you stand out.
I think so.
It's like, it's literally that. So it's amazing.
I think so. It's just like a sort of glistening, you know?
The glow.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sorry about my radiance.
Sorry about my radiance is crazy. I love that.
Okay, last question.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that's keeping you? I know, I'm like, perfect timing. The drink is done. We got to fill up again.
Yeah.
What is keeping you entertained right now?
Literature, I think.
My heart.
Yeah.
I was an English major in
college. Okay, cool.
I studied literature in college. So
I'm reading this really cool... so I went to my apartment basement, found like hella books in the library no one was touching. They were dusty. I was like, I'm taking these books. It was Raising the Sun, which I've read already. It was Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man, randomly. It was Notes of a Native Son, which I've also read already, but I didn't have a copy of. Yeah. And then there was this book called Serpent in the Rainbow. Blanking on the author's name right now, but it's a nonfiction retelling of this ethnobotanist who moves to Haiti to find basically you heard about this plant that elicits a medicine that basically turns people like into zombies or shuts their life bodily systems down. This is kind of a thing. They shut their systems down. So he was like, okay, well, I can find this plant, turn it into a medicine to help with surgeries in Western medicine. He gets out there and Haiti was like, this is not something to play with. People use this to like basically get revenge on people in their villages. So he fully experiences this whole thing where he starts to dig too deep, so they use it on him, and he wakes up in a fucking grave. Haiti basically uses this as a medicine to trick the Western medicine within their island that people have died, and 3 days later wake them up with the cure of it and turn them into indentured servants.
Oh my gosh.
It's insane. It's an insane nonfiction read. But the director of Nightmare on Elm Street turned it into a scary movie because essentially they become zombies.
Okay.
So he's made it this like sort of waking horror. The film is really campy, but the book is really, really cool. Okay. Really, really cool. And it's written by this Harvard professor. It's his experience, and he like by the skin of his teeth, like made it away from this and like became like this like think of Truman Capote in Cold Blood. That's sort of how he's written it.
Yeah, damn.
Like a like true crime sort of thing. And he's like escaped this world, you know. And it's these true stories. I found YouTube, like actual, like the people he names, I found YouTube articles on them. BBC has done articles on them, or like video diaries and things. Like these people exist. They're real.
Wow.
And so I'm like, kind of like, how can I make a horror film out of this? That's really.
I was thinking, I was like, is this one of your next forays?
I would love that. I would love that.
Well, loads of money in horror films.
I would agree, and also experiential creative.
Some funding.
Yeah, I would love that. Oh my god, yeah.
Experiential creative. Say more.
Well, just the fact that with horror films, you're seeing more risks taken. You're seeing more experimentation.
Yes. For sure. Because
it's a very open playing field now.
It's like an element of fantasy to it.
You can do whatever you want.
Kind of anything goes.
Anything goes.
Yeah,
anything goes. So I would try something like this because there's a truth to it. It's also already been made into something really campy, but sort of in the line of Freddy Krueger, and that's not where I'd go. I'd go more like not even Sinners, probably more like Weapons or something, or like Ari Aster. Midsommar or something like that, like really fucking like fuck with people.
It's too scary for me. But
I love scary movies.
I'm glad other people will enjoy it.
Yeah, I do love scary movies. Yeah, those are my faves. Yeah. Thank you so much, Liza. It's been a pleasure.
Mekhai.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah.
That was our show for today, people. Yeah. Not to block your face. That was our show for today, people.
Thank you.
If you want to hear more conversations with cool people leading amazing lives, like and subscribe to the show anywhere that you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube and subscribe on Instagram. I don't know. We'll figure out the outro another day.
Totally.
Love you guys. Bye.